This is a movie I definitely think you should be watching. This is a movie that I think for the holiday season, this time that we're in right now, this movie you put on for the family, for your friends, everybody get together, watch this movie, and we need to talk about this movie every single year. This movie should be on repeat every single year. It should definitely be a holiday movie. It should be a movie that you are watching with your friends and family. I just cannot stress this so much because this movie is so good. I'm not really a big fan of holiday movies. They come every once in a while, and you see them every year, and it's the same story over and over and over and over again. And no matter what year it is, it's the same exact story. Same exact story about Christmas, same exact story about the holidays, same exact story about New Year's, same exact story about Santa Claus, reindeers, Red Nose, Rudolph, all that stuff over and over again. Presents, yada yada yada. The list goes on and on and on and on. But this movie, Klaus, redefines that. They changed the game on this movie, and nobody's talking about it. I just heard of it recently, and when I watched it, I was shocked that we're not talking about this movie. This movie should be on repeat. This movie should be on Cartoon Network. It should be on ABC Family. It should be on USA Today. It should be on CBS, Fox Television with Simpsons, all that stuff. It should be on NBC. It should be on freaking Nickelodeon. Heck, put it on Disney. Put it out there. Everybody should watch this movie. It should be a holiday movie that you watch over and over again because this movie is so good. It is so good. I can't stress how good this movie is. Matter of fact, I will put on a level of great. Skip good, it is great. It went from eh to great in like 3.5 seconds. This movie is phenomenal. And today, because I don't think anybody talks about this, you go look at reviews, there's not that many reviews on Klaus. I'm gonna make sure you guys know what this movie is about. And I'm gonna put Klaus back in the spotlight on this episode of Movie Breakdowns, and let's get it rolling. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. And what is Movie Breakdowns? A movie review series. We're looking at new and old movies. Give them a grade A through F. Plus and minuses do count. And if there's a movie you want me to review, let me know. Please put in the comment section below and I'll get to it as best I can. I also have a Patreon called Patreon/Ali Zakka. And on this Patreon, you get first come, first serve. You ask for a review because you're paying for my services, I get to it immediately. Put it out there and be out there way before it comes out on YouTube and Facebook. Also, I have other stuff on there such as trailer reaction, trailer reviews, my very first thoughts at the end of a movie, and so more. So that's the Patreon for you. So you're paying for my services, like I said, you get your review like that. There's no ifs, ands, or buts, it's done. There's no waiting, it's done. There's no 2 months from now, no, you get it within a week. I promise you that. And hold me to it because you're paying for it. Why not do it? Anyway, let's go ahead and get into 2019's Klaus. This movie is so good. It is great. I will preach this movie as one of the greatest movies I've seen in the past, I'll say 5 years. Like, this movie took a story that you know the story of. You know how everything works. You know how it's going to play out. But they rechanged it so when you're watching this movie, you had no idea what was going to happen. You had no idea how this was going to become this, and how that became that, and how this became that, and that became this. You have no idea because the movie doesn't just tell you. It doesn't feed you into it. You might have an idea like, oh, I'm starting to see the pieces come together, but by the time you see the pieces come together, it's already told in a masterful way. It is a masterpiece. From directing, design, color, everything about this movie is great. Just throwing that out there. Now, what is this movie about? It's pretty much about a guy who is a mailman who pretty much like Cusco from The Emperor's New Groove. This character named Jesper, he is stuck up, spoiled brat, spoiled son of a rich family, and he gets everything he wanted, and his dad wanted to teach him a lesson, so his dad put him on a mail post in this little island off in the middle of nowhere, and he supposed to bring in mail and has so many deliveries, how many mailing of post mail within a certain amount of time. And his dad gave him a year total to get this job done. And pretty much everybody who's went to this island has failed. So his dad's like, my son might not make it, but if he does, he might learn a lesson. So dad put Jasper on his island, and Jasper goes to his island. As he's there, he is pretty much shaping the island, and he meets a guy named Klaus, and from there they kind of rebuild the island, give it and bring joy and I don't know what the other words I'm looking for, hopefulness to this island. I don't think hopefulness is a word, but joy, hopefulness thrown out there to this island. Because before, the island is nothing but angry, gray, bickering people fighting all the time, and Jasper inadvertently, by the way, brings joy to his island by his own selfish reasons. That's pretty much the story. It's the mission of this son who has been pretty much exiled by his family to do something, and in turn it kind of brings a positive light to the place that he was at by him inadvertently doing it for his own selfish reasons. Then at the end, as you know in most stories, that character kind of realized that, oh, this is what this is all about, and not really about me kind of situation. That's the main story. And now we're getting into spoiler territory, because, so I'm going to take 3 seconds. Spoilers in 3, 2, 1, boom, let's get into it. The way that character is done, Jasper is turned into this place, into this hopeful, bright, cheery area. It's done really well. He did it all selfishly. Like, he pretty much wanted to get mailing going. He wanted to get some mail and people mailing papers and stuff like that. And how he does it is that he had this kid who wanted like a present. He was stuck in it. That wasn't a present really. He was stuck in his place and he wanted to get out, and he was sad. And the drawing he had of his place fell out into Jasper's hand. Jasper was like, "I mail it back to you." And the kid's like, "Why would I do that?" So Jasper kept this kid's drawing. He kept it for X amount of time. Then he found out about this place named Klaus, who this guy lived off from the town. He lived also in his own little spot. So Jasper went to go visit Klaus, got scared by Klaus. Klaus drops the drawing. Klaus sees the drawing and wanted to bring this kid the toy, but he used the mailman to deliver the toy to the boy. And that's how the ball got rolling on presents getting delivered to kids. Every time the kid found another kid got a present, they would go to Jasper. Jasper would send the mail to Klaus. They would bring the toy to the kid, and so on, so on, so on. But they would do it at night, so the kid wouldn't see it. When the kid wake up in the morning, the present was there. But if a kid was being bad, Jasper told the kid they would get coal from this guy named Klaus, and so on, so on, so on. As the little things happen, they start building up the story of Santa Claus, who pretty much is just kids telling stories left and right about two guys who were just sending presents at the dead of night to kids. Also, he had kids who didn't know how to write, and there's a teacher who gave up teaching and started making like a meat shop, where the kids would go to the teacher who wanted to get off the island. She almost got to get out, and the kids started asking her for lessons so they can learn how to write letters to Santa, which the kids thought was Santa, or write letters to Klaus. So the teacher inadvertently started teaching kids again, but it wasn't because the kids wanted to learn how to write for just purposes. They wanted to learn how to write so they could write letters to this guy to get presents. And the teacher who gave up teaching because no kids would go to school, but at the beginning of the movie, started teaching to teach these kids how to write letters. And the kids didn't want to learn how to write letters until Jasper said he wouldn't send their presents off or send their request to get presents until they agreed him a letter and so they could mail it. It's all selfish reasons why Jasper did this, but inadvertently it ended up bringing the town light and joy. And he didn't really notice until Alva, who was the teacher, showed him like, look what you're doing for this town. And Klaus only did it because he believed that one good deed sparks another. So by him sending presents to kids, it will inadvertently kind of have somebody like pay it forward. Do one thing, somebody does a good deed, that sparks this person to do a good deed, that sparks that person to do a good deed, that sparks that person to do a good deed. Phenomenal. I love this story. I think it's done really, really well. It's the same story you've seen over and over again, but it's retold in a different way, and that's the beauty of this movie. It's telling something that you know and redoing it so therefore it feels fresh and renewed, and it's done so well. Done so well. And I haven't even gotten to the writing of it. I haven't even gotten to the directing of it, and the lighting and the shading and the artwork. Because this movie's artwork is beautiful. It is 2D animation mixed with a little 3D, and the coloring and the shading as you're watching this movie, you watch the movie go from gray to bright as little things are happening, and it gets brighter and brighter and brighter. The sun comes out before, and there's a character who legit points out that it's mostly a dark area. This is the brightest it gets at the beginning of the movie. The gray that you see is not the grays of grays. It's like a light gray. And he said this is the best time of year, which is crazy. And I think it is so great how this movie does this. It's phenomenal. Phenomenal. Alright, before I get into characters, I do want to talk about box office, which this movie doesn't have a box office because it was sent straight to Netflix. Nobody wanted to pick this movie up and put it in theaters. And the guy who did this movie, the director, Sergio Pablos, worked on a bunch of Disney movies. And nobody took this movie, and Netflix was like, hey, we'll take it. So I'm not sure how much Netflix paid to get this movie on their streaming services. But the budget for this movie is $40,000, and I hope they got their money back. The runtime of this movie is 96 minutes. And I think it's done so well. This movie should be put on TV once it come off Netflix. Now, let's get into characters here. So, Jason Schwartzman, who plays Gideon Graves in one of my favorite movies, A Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, is Jasper. I didn't notice that, but freaking Gideon Graves as Jasper makes perfect sense why the character would act that certain way and how Jason was able to portray himself in that character. Jasper is your Emperor's New Groove. He is Cusco. He reminds you of Cusco at the beginning of the movie, the way he acts and the things he does is kind of like how Cusco did things in Emperor's New Groove. He wanted to, both characters did things selfishly for themselves at the beginning of the movie, and thanks to another character, a bigger character, your Pacha, your Klaus, their viewpoint kind of changes. And Jasper, to me, was a great character for this, and he was a character that most times in most movies, you see that character who's like the stuck-up, selfish character, this is me, this is who I am. They have that, oh, I don't want to change, this person changed my life kind of moment. In the middle of the movie, he had this mindset all the way to like the last, I'll say 30 minutes of the movie before he actually changes to like, oh, I guess I don't want to leave. And matter of fact, he still was doing it selfishly for himself, but at the same time, because like, I also want to help out these kids. I see what these kids are doing. I want to give back to these kids. It wasn't like he really wanted to change himself. Like, he didn't really change his mindset. Like, he wasn't doing anything negatively to hurt anybody else. He was just being selfish and just care about his silk sheets and his luxurious lifestyle. But he never was like putting any harm will on anybody. Like, Cusco Emperor's New Groove kicked the dude out the building because it threw off his groove. Jasper didn't do that. He was just really more selfish, and he saw how the kids were reacting thanks to the presents they're giving and all the good things they're doing. He's like, I really don't want to leave this place now, but I almost reached my goal. And I like that character. I really like how he was doing. So he wasn't like your traditional selfish character who harmed everybody else. He was just selfish because he was pretty much a egotistical person. Like, he was more invested in himself than others, and as he inadvertently did things for himself that helped out everybody else, he was just like, I like this place. I like Jasper, and Jason Schwartzman did a good job as that character. J.K. Simmons, who's one of my favorite voice actors and favorite actors, yes, as Klaus. I'm geeking out here because I love J.K. Simmons. Great. Klaus is that character who is your Pacha. He is the guy who just does goodwill for everybody. He's like doing good deeds. And one part of the movie, he doesn't talk, and he's more grunting, and as Jasper and Klaus got to know each other more and more and start doing more present delivery, they open up to each other, and it's a pretty cool scene where they kind of do it very, like, via laugh, like they did it in the sense of a joke. And I think it's great. Klaus' character starts speaking more and more throughout the movie, and his motivation for what he did things is so great. And when the end of the movie comes around, you get to see like his storyline plays out. I love it. I love it. I thought it was great. Rashida Jones, who played Alva. Rashida Jones' character, Alva, is a teacher, and she was kind of more exposition dump to Jasper at the beginning of the movie and kind of towards the middle and the end of the movie. But she's a great character because she's like representation of the joy that was there before people go to this island, and what happens afterwards after being there. So as she started lighting up, the city was lighting up. So you can see the city lighting up and the change in the town, the city, based off of Alva's reaction to how she did things. I liked her character. I thought she was great. Now the love relationship between her and Jesper, it's more of a backstory and wasn't really played up, but you know what's happening. And actually had a character by the name of Mogans, who voiced by Norm Macdonald. He's a character who kind of talking about like that's young love and this and that. He kind of like did more exposition, tell you things that's happening without you actually knowing it. Like he was kind of a semi-narrator, but in a sense at the expense of Jasper. Like he would say things to tell the audience what's going on, to kind of poke fun at Jasper, which Mogans, he didn't really light up until Jasper came in and gave some sarcastic wits, and then he was like, oh, we got a wise guy here. Bet. I like that character, by the way. So Jasper and Alva, not Jasper, but Alva and Mogans, I like those two characters. Then you have Will Sasso and Joanne Cusack, who plays Mr. Ellenbow and Miss Crumb. They're the most antagonist person in this movie. They're like the two mayors of this city or town, and what happens at this town before Jasper comes in, the two sides battle out. They fight each other, and it's like a split between the two like families that lives on this island. And for centuries, their families have been fighting for decades and centuries, etc., etc. And they don't want to change that. As the kids, no matter what side of the family they was on, whether it was Mrs. Crumb or Mr. Ellenbow, they start hanging out with each other and just kind of like spreading goodwill, which showed the parents like, oh, the kids are happy, we're happy because they're helping us out. And the parents started like working together on both sides. So Ellenbow and Mrs. Crumb was like the old tradition. They want to keep the old guard, and Jasper and Klaus was changing that. I like their characters. I like how they were the antagonist to show like, hey, this is how things been forever. We actually don't hate each other, but this is how things been forever, and we don't want to change that. And they're trying to come in and change it. We gotta stop them. But Klaus and Jasper is like, hey man, it's making everybody better, making everybody's life different. Why not change it? I like those characters. I think they did a great job. This movie is great. The director, as I said before, Sergio Pablos, who's also the writer, Pablos, in screenplay, he did a great job with this movie. This movie is phenomenal. It's worth the watch. Everybody should be talking about this movie. Everybody should be putting this movie on repeat for family and friends, get together, like movie night. This is the movie you should watch. This is a Friday night movie. Yes, it is. The music is great. There's like movie score music, and then there's some music that's like music, you know, like modern day music plays on radio music. Like you will hear that in this movie. And my only nitpick is that some of those songs is like, I didn't expect that in this movie. It's almost like more like Disney kind of style, like Disney TV movie kind of style, the way those songs come in. But it's a kids movie. It's still great. It is phenomenal. The directing, the color of the movie, the backdrops and the set pieces of this movie is phenomenal as well. Like you watching, like this is a beautifully done movie. If you love art, you will love this movie because it's drawn and colored so well, and it's shading so well. Alright, grading time. I'm done gushing over this movie. I gushed too much. I'm giving the movie Klaus from 2019 a solid A. An A. This movie is great. This is a great movie, and it's worth to watch. It definitely should be watched. From the character designs to the backdrop, the set pieces, and the artwork to the music. The only thing I'm nitpicking there. The music is the only thing I'm just like, but it's worth the movie. It's worth for the movie. It's good. It's good. The voice acting is great. The cast is great. It's just a great movie. This movie's great. This movie is great. Storyline is great. It's a simple storyline that you've seen over and over again, retold in a different way, and that's how you retell a storyline that it doesn't become stale. It's phenomenal. This movie is an A. Matter of fact, I'm changing it. I'll make it an A+. This movie is an A+. Give it 100%. A+. A+ movie. Take back what I said. It's an A+. A+, A+, A+. If you seen the movie Klaus, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below and keep what your thoughts are. Thank you guys for watching this episode of Movie Breakdowns. Love you guys and see you on the next episode. Thank you guys for watching this episode. I really appreciate it. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Also, you want to see what else I'm doing in my normal life and other things that's going on, please follow me on Instagram at Ali_Zakka. I'll put it right here around my face. Yep, right there. Also, if you want more episodes of movie breakdowns or grind towards success or whatever it is I'm doing on YouTube, you know what? Follow my page right here, like I said before, the little comment thing right there, And then you can watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns right here, and watch the last episode of Grind Towards Success right there. Other than that, thank you guys so much. I really appreciate y'all. See y'all next time. Keep being awesome.